wrestling. Monday Nitro, where the past burns and the future explodes. Cameras flash like warning lights. This ring's a jungle full of fights. They said you couldn't, now you can. No matter the gender, woman or man. Flames you up, the match ignites. This isn't play, this is real life. You hear that crowd, you feel that beat. That's the moment your legacy meets. No rewind, no reset. One wrong move, you'll regret. Step in, rise up, break the chain. Prove your name inside the flame. This is where the big boys and big girls play. Where tradition bites the dust today. Uncensored action, no lines to cross. Feel the bash at the beach like a title loss. It's the hottest hour, no time to stall. Where the bang so loud it shatters the wall. Unpredictable fights, no script in hand. Where the revolution takes a stand. The future is now, the moment is raw. World Championship Wrestling breaks every law. World Championship Wrestling. Monday Nitro, where the past burns and the future explodes. Sweat drips like thunder rain. They don't just fight, they entertain. Women blaze just like the men, taking the hits again and again. It's not a match, it's a war cry. With every fall they rise and fly. Monday's fire, no disguise. They shine like stars and brutalize. This is the squad, this is the flame. Say their names, remember the pain. One shot, one ring, all in, no strain. This is Nitro, this is the game. No costumes here, no hidden mask. This ain't a story, it's a task. To crush the odds, rewrite the script. And it's so hard, the balance tips. No mercy, just pride and grit. You either burn bright or you don't fit. This is where the big boys and big girls play. Where tradition bites the dust today. Uncensored action, no lines to cross. Feel the bash at the beach like a title loss. It's the hottest hour, no time to stall. Where the bang so loud it shatters the wall. Unpredictable fights, no script in hand. Where the revolution takes a stand. The future is now, the moment is raw. World Championship Wrestling breaks every law. Wrestling. Monday Nitro, where the past burns and the future explodes.
Welcome to WCW Monday Nitro! Region Gaming has an amazing show for you tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the show.
And indeed, enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the channel. I am Region Gaming. We are here for another episode of WCW Monday Nitro, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. But I am Region Gaming, and we're here for another episode now. We are kicking things off with the new championship match that's going to be taking place, and that is the WCW Women's Spirit Championship.
Representing Pretty Mean Sisters from San Francisco, California, Cepeda Garcia.
Now this is for the WCW Women's Spirit Championship. It's just like the Honor Championship, and that was taking place last week. Now Natalya is going to be taking place in this match, ladies and gentlemen. She was for the WCW Women's Tournament, and she found a replacement, and that is a good replacement that she found that you're going to see here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But with Natalya going to this division because she talked to Mike Ross Sr., thinking that this would be more suitable for her, we'll see what happens, you know.
Her opponent from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Now when it comes to the rules for the Spirit Championship, they're just like the Honor Championship. The only way to win is by submission. But in the future, we're getting it all worked out with the legal and everything from what Mike Ross Sr. said, and getting the match all structured out. But eventually we're going to have underground matches, which you will see one in the future here in WCW. And there's going to be only 3 titles that are going to be consistent in underground matches. The first one is going to be your ECW Extreme Championship. That is going to be where it is a underground match, but the only way to win is by pinfall or submission, and there is no knockout. So the referee cannot stop the match until you get pinned or you tap out. So there is no stopping the match. There is no, hey, he's done, throw it. No, there is no ring the bell. The ref can't do that until there's a tap out or there is a pinfall, you know. And look at that beautiful pure women's championship, as you got Cepeda Green, or Garcia, and then you got Natalia. I believe that was her last name. She's a little new, but yeah, but basically that's going to be the rules for the hardcore championship. So there is no the ref saying the match is over, but for the women's pure and the men's honor, it's going to be underground match rules, but the only way to win is by knockout or submission, kind of like a blood sport match, but doing a little bit more wrestling style, you know, kind of like free wrestling. Oh geez, I took a lot out of Cepeda right there, taking it to Natalia. But yeah, but that's going to be future plans when it gets all structured out. So, but you may see some matches after this that may take place, since they're not structured out, that will take place in, you know, if there is any of these matches that take place for a championship before we get it all structured out and whatnot, where there is a title or something on the line, like the Honor Championship. That was on the first episode. That wasn't in the underground match, but things will change, you know, and we're getting things structured out, getting the feel of what's going to be taking place as Cepeda takes it to Natalia right there, and trying to do whatever she's got to do to win, to be the Women's Spirit Champion, and she's got a submission hold locked in right now. And is Natalia going to... Nope, Natalia breaks out of that. She is not going to tap, ladies and gentlemen. You got to understand, when Natalia Neidhart, or Natty Neidhart, stepped into Bloodsport, that was a different person that we all saw. She wasn't the same person that you recognize from WWE. I don't know, yes, the working relationship with WWE. She's allowed to come over here like many others, like you saw in the first episode. But, you know, that doesn't mean that when she's in a match like this, especially when it becomes like a Bloodsport style type match, she's going to change her ways. She's going to do whatever she's got to do to try to get the match won and done. But as of right now, Cepeda is trying to do whatever she can to Natalia, as they've just been chain wrestling for the majority of this match. Not all of it, but majority so far. Just trying to, you know, show what their worth, or well, Cepeda's worth to Natalia. Natalia, she's a legend. Whether you want to admit it or not, she's a legend. She's like, if it wasn't for Foxy ever leaving WWE, she's by far, I think, out of everyone in the women's division, she's been there the longest. And she's still there. And she's still doing stuff, even if she's not making it to the top. Even if she's not being world champion. You know? But being able to, with the new partnership with WWE and having working relationships with, you know, GCW and, you know, now TNA, and then seeing Chuck Williams win that TNA championship, that was crazy, you know, that was really crazy. And then, you know, now owning AAA, you know, it's just crazy. And then like Triple H giving me the rights to, well, Senior and all of us the rights to be able to do this, which I never done this before as Region Gaming. This is my first time behind the desk commentating for these matches, and I would love to see, you know, a lot of, you know, originals and commentate for them. I never did, you know. A few people I have in mind would be, you know, none other than, well, obviously two that have been fighting, which, you know, because that is none other than the Outlaw Chris Carter Sr. and none other than, you know, the man of 1,000 holes, the Cadillac Cowboy, Mike Ross Sr., because they were arguing, because apparently Carter, before his match in the first episode, he was wondering why he's teaming with his sons when from 26 to 19, I mean, even with Carter's family, he said, in your family, it was nothing but just love, hate, but mostly war. and not as much love and more hate, you know. And Senior basically told him this is his last time doing his last run, and he claims he just wants to sit down, be at the desk, running the show. He doesn't want to wrestle no more. Heck, he would even be fine calling the matches again. Running the show, calling the matches, you know. But he's got me to call the matches, so don't fire me. But, you know, obviously, you know, he wants to just, you know, he wants to do one last run, he said, with his family. His grandson's bride, Maverick's son, you know, Kenny, Mike Ross Jr.'s son, you know, he could teach them a lot. You know, he's taught Mike Ross Jr. a lot, he's taught Maverick a lot, and they learned and, you know, kind of took what they wanted to take and put it in their own interpretation and did this and did that, you know. And it's just, you know, it's to the point where, you know, the Cepeda, hold on. Cepeda, what does she have? No, Natalya. Oh, and Natalya stops it. But yeah, you know, they craft their own way. They did what they had to do, you know. And Natalya now looking for a submission. And she's going to try to make Cepeda tap. Is it going to happen? No, Cepeda gets out of it. But, you know, they carved their own ways. You know, they went their own ways, did their own thing, you know. You got to grow. And he wants to, Mike Ross Sr. just wants to do one last run with his family. Senior, Chris Carter Sr., I don't know if he realizes that, you know, that's the case. You know, that's a good idea, but he claims that, you know, the past and this and that, and in my family, you know, it would just be better. I want the Outlaws again, and, you know, he was upset that Mike Ross Sr. put him in an honor match, and, you know, not only did he put him in an honor match, he lost that honor match, and Carter said that he's got to fight to go win that world championship, and that's BS. I got to be in a tournament, and you just get a championship match, and apparently Mike Sr. said there's a few championships that ain't for men's and women, so there's not a double world, like for the women's title, a world title, then, you know, the men got a world title, you know, and then the men's got an intercontinental, women's got intercontinental, men's got United States, vice versa, you know, for the titles that we have that you'll see. I mean, most of them do, and there's some that don't, so I understand why Mike did it. In my opinion, Carter don't. Carter just wants to, you know, do one last run to try to win that last title shot. He's a 9-time world champion. He's won it only one time in WCW, but then him traveling and going out around the world, he has, you know, won it none other than at different companies and this and that now, you know, do a lot of, you know, other companies that ain't WWE, you know, and nowadays there's AEW and obviously TNA, but back in the day, do they count them? A lot of people will say no. I say, yeah, if you've been a world champion, it doesn't matter if it's an indie company. You're a professional wrestler. You became a champion of that company. The owner of that company decided to see you as their world champion. So, yeah, that counts. And he's won it 9 times in different places, you know. And he's looking to get 10. I know Senior said he's won the world title 7. He would love to be Ocho. But, you know, we'll just see. Oh, and Cepeda tap. Natalya wins, ladies and gentlemen. She is your WCW Pure Women's Champion, ladies and gentlemen, for episode 2. So we got 2 champions crowned so far. These champions, Mike Ross Sr. wanted to do without a tournament. And then, you know, obviously he said there may be some other ones in the future. We'll just have to stay tuned to find out. Because there's some championships that, you know, do not have a women's division, and it's just a men's division, and maybe those would be the ones, I don't know. We'll have to see what he has in mind, you know, and then, yeah. And eventually, I can't wait for Chris Carter Sr., when I was talking to him, to get Roughneck Gaming, get his buddy to come on here. I never did any commentating with that guy ever. It's going to be the first time meeting him, you know, be behind the desk, you know. I think we'll be a good connection. We'll be a good fit, you know. But Natalya won, ladies and gentlemen, so let's send it down to the announcer.
Here is your winner, in the new WCW Women's Pure Champion,
Natalya won, ladies and gentlemen, and she's going to be going backstage and getting that new front plate put on with her name, and she's going to take some photos. But we're going to be continuing things on with the men's tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm being told when we get to the second rounds, we're going to start off with the United States and get to the second rounds for the men and women, then Intercontinental television and tag and so on, going back until we get all contenders to be who's going to be facing at the upcoming first pay-per-view of WCW Universe Mode. But we have Mad Dog Niles taking on Buster Hunt, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to happen here shortly. And then later on, we're going to have Kenny by God Omega, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be taking on none other than Mike Ross Jr., and that's going to be a good dream match, because I don't think they've ever, as far as my knowledge, I've never commentated none of the matches from back in the day from 2016, 2019, but I'm not sure if they ever faced each other. So this is going to be a dream match for me as a commentator watching, and for you viewers watching at home, because Mike Ross Jr., he's the son of the owner, Mike Ross Sr., and I've seen matches between them, and he will do anything. He might even kill someone. I hope that never happens, he just doesn't care. But we're going to be getting on with the first round of the men's brackets here in the tournament to see who's going to be going on to the second round. And it is two guys that used to be a part of a group called the Militia back in the day. And it is Mad Dog Niles versus Buster Hunt. Now, out of all three members, another member, Bad Boy Mason, who was really the leader? Because Mad Dog Niles told me he was the leader. I talked to Bad Boy backstage. He said he was once the leader. I don't know. He's a part of the group again, so, maybe he's just going to allow Mad Dog to be the leader. I don't know, but then, Buster said he was the leader. But now Buster's got a family, and he's got a bloodline. He's got his sons, he's got his wife, and it's just crazy. Really crazy. But let's send it down to the announcer.
Making his way to the ring, representing the Militia from Jacksonville, Florida, weighing in at 259 pounds, Mad Dog Niles!
And Mad Dog Niles making his way down to the ring now. I know that they said King of the Ring tournament, but this is for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship tournament. And when we get to the second rounds, as I say, then we'll swap over to the Men's and Women's United States Championship tournament. Once we get the second rounds of the people that will be in the second rounds there, we'll continue on after that with the Intercontinental Championship, Men's and Women's. Then it will be the television, and then it will be none other than, the tag team divisions, and then vice versa going back. There's a few other titles which I'm being told by Teddy Long in my ear. There's a hardcore title, there's a men's European title, and there's the cruiserweight title. That are other titles that are going to be defended sometime during these exhibition episodes as we get the contenders and get things figured out for the other titles that will take place on the episode of the first pay-per-view that will take place in Universe Mode, which pay-per-views and PLEs are going to be a little different. So PLEs, which we have coming up at the beginning and end of the year, always that's going to take place, is a premium live event, not a pay-per-view, and that is called WCW Battle of the Belts. And I'm being told right now that at the end of this year, in December, 1 week from WCW Starrcade, the end Granddaddy pay-per-view of them all, 4 champions at random are going to be chosen, and anyone in the lower card from 5 or lower are going to be chosen at random to step in, and that could change the outcome of any pay-per-view. But then when it comes to that taking place twice per year, random times, random championships, pay-per-views are different, because pay-per-views, all championships on the line, and it's a pay-per-view.
From Rio Grande Valley, Texas, weighing in at 251 pounds, Buster Hunt!
But here comes the Animal, the one Buster Hunt, which he used to go by the Animal, but now he's just going by the one, as he throws up that one, and you see the rest of the crowd out here in this arena throwing up their ones, because they're here for another than Buster Hunt. Now, as you hear for his song, before I continue on what I was talking about, you can hear that his family says not for blood, not for real or whatever. Basically, out of RP, not going into RP, out of RP, the deal is as I recorded this and had these matches and stuff, because I got a few more episodes that I have recorded and put out for premieres for you guys, but it was going to be basically Buster's wife, Jade Hunt, and it was going to be family members from her side of the family, and their last name was Hunter, but they're actually going to be Buster's son. So eventually, this theme is going to get updated and changed in the future, and none other than the creator of these characters is going to be getting these characters sent to them since I made them, and he's going to be doing any editing, anything that he needs to do to make them better now. Me personally, I made him look a little different than what he normally would look like, because he would look more like a Roman Reigns style, but since the Militia 2.0 with Bad Boy Mason and Mad Dog Niles and their third member to be, shown in the future, they all kind of look like how he looks, and I kind of want to make him look a little different, and there was once from 2016 to 19, I'm not sure which year, but there was a good period of time he was wearing trunks, and there's nothing wrong with trunks, yeah, you can make a good career just wearing the trunks, because it doesn't matter about what you're wearing. It matters how good you are in the goddamn ring, to be honest with you, and that's what Buster will tell you. Buster says, and when I talked to Buster and asked him why he went back to the trunks, he said, because I don't want to look like those wannabes, the 2.0 militia, when they're claiming that, they're the most dominant team still, but they were dominant because I was a part of it, he said. And I told him, I said, yeah, you're one of the greats, you're up there on my list. I said, you're in my top 10. And he laughed and said, what, not top 5? And, I said, well, I didn't say that you was in the top 5, but I didn't say that you was lower and somewhere towards, the top 10. And he said, I got you. I said, you're up there, though. There's a lot of people in the wrestling business and this whole entire universe that it's just hard to say that you're going to be number one. And he understands. He says, well, when I was a part of that group, I wasn't that number one. He said, I was number one, and I was the leader. I controlled the group. I ran the group. I brought Mad Dog Niles and Bad Boy Mason in, And I said, yeah, that makes sense. That makes totally sense. I saw some clips and highlights here and there when I was working at my other job, and, I'd be slacking off in the break room, pretending like I'm working, actually just watching WCW, and I saw, some of the episodes you brought them in, and you guys were dominant. He's like, they're not going to be dominant, and then I asked him, because I was talking to him early on today, when I was talking to him, I said, how do you feel about tonight in the tournament? You going to win? I was like, well, what happens if you make it to where you face your father? And he laughed, and he said, apparently he offered his father an opportunity to be a part of the bloodline, and he turned it down. He said no. He said, I don't want to be with you. He said, I want nothing to do with you. He said, you go do your evil ways and you just do you, that's not me. I don't want nothing to do with you. And apparently Chris Carter Sr.'s other son, Chris Carter Jr., tried to offer him a part of Evolution. Told him Gabriel Gates forward with his career and whatnot, and Draven, the future Dynamite Hopkins, even though he's just going by the future Dynamite Hopkins now, since there's someone else called Draven, which is a relative of none other than Elijah Wolf, which we'll see in action here eventually in WCW, and tag team action between them. I'm not sure if they're going to be a part of the tag team division, but it was someone Elijah Wolf asked Mike Ross Sr. to sign, and apparently Mike did, and I don't know, we'll just have to see what they're all about, But Buster taking it to none other than, Mad Dog taking it to Buster with the hardest, part of the ring, slamming his back onto it. But yeah, so there's a lot of crazy things that are going to be taking place, a lot of things that could happen, I don't know what's going to happen between the Cadillac Cowboy, the man of 1,000 holds, with that nice kick from Buster taking Mad Dog Niles down. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Outlaw and all them. Who knows? Anything could happen in wrestling, because you can never say never. Just because he said no, he wasn't going to join with his son right there, the one in the blue trunks, taking it to Mad Dog Niles and trying to do what he's got to do to try to win this one, to go in with the tournaments, Who knows? You may see Senior in the future join the Bloodline. Imagine the legend, the Outlaw, walking out, wearing a Bloodline shirt, and throwing up the one. Or imagine him throwing on an Evolution shirt and thrown on the Anarchist emblem with the Evolution shirts that were made for the group of Evolution, and walk out with none other than his son, Chris Carter Jr., the Anarchist, Gabriel Gates, and then none other than, well, the future Dynamite Hopkins. That would be a crazy scene to see. But then again, you can never say never. And what if he somehow doesn't win this tournament, Chris Sr.? And what if the Outlaws do one last run? I mean, they both said this is their last run, so we'll just have to see. But looks like Mad Dog Niles is telling Buster, thumbs down. This is it. You're done. But Buster Hunt trying to fight his way in this one with a nice clothesline, taking Mad Dog Niles down to the ground, doing whatever he's got to do, showing that he's dominant, showing that he was once the Animal. He still is the Animal, but he is the one. And we'll see if he's the one as he goes for the pin. One. Yep, yeah, he's the one, all right. He only got the one. Mad Dog Niles is, he's mad. And he's a dog, so he's, good luck trying to put a Mad Dog, to sleep and put him down, I'm not no, person that goes out, and I'm not like a dog catcher or, animal catcher, but I'm pretty sure some dogs out there are pretty mad, and they're dogs, and yeah, it's hard to put them to sleep. And that's what's happening right here. Buster is doing whatever. Oh, no. This could be it. He's setting up. For the powerbomb. Oh, powerbomb. That could be it. Goes for the pin. Is this it? 1, 2. No. Buster Hunt said no. Oh, Mad Dog Niles. And the crowd's chanting "Fight Forever," ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I would love to see them fight forever, but indeed, I cannot sit here forever. And eventually, I'd get tired of calling this match. Now, if it was Anarchy Rules, like what AEW does, I don't think I'd get tired, because it's just chaos happening everywhere. And the one that just happened recently, that was crazy, Playing some nice 2000s, alternative rock. How Mr. Omega, who was here a part of none other than WCW as well, with a working relationship, said, play that, as I'm not trying to use any swearing words, because I know YouTube doesn't like that, but, he said, play that crap. And they played it, but the song they played before it was pretty good. I'm so excited. That was an amazing pay-per-view, just like this is an amazing episode, as Mad Dog is telling Buster, you're done. Thumbs down. Your turn for the championship is over. We'll find out. Referee goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Mad Dog Niles defeated Buster Hunt. Showed him that I'm going for that title. Showing him that you're not the one. I'm the one, and I am representing the militia. A member of the militia beat an old member of the militia, and I don't know, that'd be a match that's, I'm not saying that I would want to book it, because, I don't make the matches, I'm just a commentator, but I would love to see Mad Dog Niles, even though Bad Boy's in a team with them. But I would love to see if they ever split up in the future, Mad Dog Niles versus Bad Boy Mason versus Buster Hunt, to see who really was the but. Bad Boy's a part of a team with him right now, so, I'm not going to wish them to break up and split up just because I want to see that match happen, That'd be, saying I'm getting my way and ruining wrestling for you guys. I'm not here to ruin wrestling. I'm not Mr. John Cena, which, his scheduled dates, I tried to get him, and he just told me, go yourself, and it is what it is, I told Senior I asked, because I know the guy, and Mad Dog Niles won, and he gets to go on to the second round of this tournament. Yeah, but I know the guy, because, I worked in WWE for a while, you know, doing backstage stuff, and I asked him, and I told Senior, and Senior just said, well, we tried. And he's like, well, you tried. I was like, you know, he's got dates, and, you know, but next time we return with these tournaments, we'll be taking a break, as I say, when we get to the second rounds, and we'll be going to the United States Championship next, and then so on when we get to the second rounds, continuing then with Intercontinental, TV, and Tag, and then so on going back. But we'll see Colt Santos versus Mad Dog Niles. But later on, ladies and gentlemen, we have Kenny Omega versus Mike Ross Jr., and then when we finally come back to these tournaments, whoever wins that will take on the Outlaw, the Legend, Chris Carter Sr. But we know now at the top it is Colt Santos taking on Mad Dog Niles. But next, ladies and gentlemen, this was from 2016 to 2019, the best tag team in WCW, but this is going to be the first time ever a dream match. They are taking on the Motor City Machine Guns, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be the first time ever I'm calling a match for none other than the Midnight Express and the Motor City Machine Guns. So let's send it down to none other than the ring announcer. Let's go.
Hits and the lights go down. Legends walking straight through your town, from the north to the south, from coast to coast. We the tag team kings, now raise your
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall on their way to the ring, and a combined weight of 487 pounds.
We the ones that call the very best. Champions rise, pretenders fall. Ain't no room when the midnight comes.
The Midnight Express.
And that is one of the best tag teams from 2016 and 2019 from what Mike Ross Sr. in my headphone and Teddy is telling me backstage since they're in gorilla position. And basically, this is one of the best tag teams that Mike Ross Sr. ever found. It was a coincidence that they found Jay Hall, which he used to go by Javon Hall. And then it was a coincidence that they found Carmelo Cook and just threw them together. It was just a random thing because they needed some tag teams and just threw them together. And he's glad that he's ever did that. And since then, they've been best friends. And yeah, it's been amazing. But here they come, ladies and gentlemen, the Motor City Machine Guns. Send it back down to the ring announcer.
And their opponents at a combined weight of 420 pounds. Alex Kelly and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns.
So the Motor City Machine Guns are making their way down to the ring, ladies and gentlemen. This is my first time ever calling a match for the Motor City Machine Guns and Midnight Express, and this is their first time ever facing each other ever. So this is gonna be crazy. You know, these two come from TNA, and they are TNA legends. And from what they've done, it's just crazy. You know, really, really crazy and insane. And I can't wait for the bell to ring and call this match underway. And the bell rung. Oh, and Jay Hall looking to go for a tag right away. No, but not going to allow that to happen. Now it looks like none other than the Motor City Machine Guns was going to do the same thing. Midnight Express and Motor City Machine Guns are thinking, maybe we'll start off by trying to tag one each other in and just beat the crap out of the other opponent, you know? And hey, if I was a wrestler, that's a strategy I'd go for, you know? Like right now, you tag Carmelo Cook. And bada boom, bada bang. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. No. And he gets the 2 for a 2. Sweet. And Carmelo Cook doing whatever he's got to do. Throwing him into the corner. Oh. Oh. Oh, going to the top of the rope or something? Or what do you have in mind? There's the tag. Tag's been made. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin doing what they got to do to try to win this one and get it done. As Carmelo Cook and Gia Hall got to do what they got to do to try to get it done. Now, eventually, this could turn into a tag team tournament, and who knows if they'll see each other in the future. So whoever gets to win, you know, in the future, if they ever face each other, that's just going to be revenge you're going to have to get, you know. Well, got a submission hold locked in. Got a submission hold locked in. Well, oh! Nice takedown right there. Tag has been made in. What is Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin doing? Oh, Jesus. Disrespectful. Disrespectful right there from the Motor City Machine Guns. Chris Sabin. And the rules go with how Ring of Honor and New Japan does it. We go for a 20 count. So they could have stayed out there for a while if they wanted to. But we also do the traditional rules on how AEW used to do it. And we do 20-minute time limits. Championship matches are 60-minute time limits. Although certain matches like the Hardcore Championship match in the future, when we get the rules and everything sorted out for the Underground match like I talked about earlier, then that would be a no time limit. And there will be nothing to do. Now, I know that when the first match does take place, there may be, you know, a time limit on the screen, but eventually that will change, and it's been fixed and updated, you know. As I say, we're still in exhibition mode. I'm still getting things imported into the game, so, you know, and we're here getting tournaments going, and I get to test and get things on the role play scene. Oh, come on, Chris and Alex. Oh! Now he's gonna go for it. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin just being disrespectful to the Midnight Express. Well, going for the clevering clothesline right there. Nice slam onto the mat out there. Now, I'm also being told in the future Mike Ross Sr. is also going to be trying a different camera position angle, which then if that angle gets a better light of what Mike Ross Sr. thinks of the presentation, it may switch back to the original way that the camera used to be. Mike Ross Sr. told me, and I even told him I like the camera angle, but basically he said that there are certain matches, which there are, basically, oh, and removing the turnbuckle pad over there. Jesus, but yeah, basically there are certain matches that will take place. Oh, man, nice kick to the head right there. But like underground matches, war games matches, which WCW does have a war games arena, you know, and we can do war games in the future as role play and storylines, you know. But when the camera angles this way for certain match types, only a few, it just doesn't. But we'll see. It's just a test in the waters. We may stick with the camera in the future like this, but Mike Ross Sr. wants to test the waters out in the future, so stay tuned for future episodes to come out and see that. But, you know, I love the camera angle right now, you know. And obviously, me personally, I went in my settings, I messed with some of them. I turned off the shadows. I didn't really care for the shadows because it made the gameplay. Oh, only a 2 right there. It made the gameplay sometimes lag for some reason, and I don't know why it would lag. My computer can handle this game. I got games that take way more to run than what this game takes, but when I turn the shadows off. But then I was also told, because I'm on the PWI Discord and I'm on the WWE 2K Discord, that it's literally a PC thing. Oh, almost got the 3, 2.5 right there. But basically, it's a PC thing, just like with the music. The music will quit playing, and then the ring announcer, whoever you have, will quit saying what they're saying, but you'll still kind of hear the crowd, or sometimes you won't even hear the crowd. It depends on which way it plays out, and then it just kind of messes up the way the entrance is, and, you know, the presentation, and it's just PC side only, apparently, which, hooray, PC side always gets, you know, but I get it, you know. Plus, I modded the game heavily, and it's all custom music, and eventually in the future, I don't know, maybe it would be towards the end of when I'm probably gonna call it quits, and I might try it, you know. I just don't want to have to pay, as a tag has been made in by the Motor City Machine Guns, taking it to Javon Hall, but it's kind of dumb that from all the videos I watched, basically saying that gotta go pay $5 a month to be able to get the programs so I could be able to mod the game, which it's kind of dumb, you know, in my opinion. I'm just trying to put one of the mods that I saw, which also is a stupid Patreon mod that you gotta buy, which is a blood mod, which I saw it, and oh my god, it looks insane. Like, their faces look like Ric Flair. Literally, it showed women cause or created wrestlers with real wrestlers, created male wrestlers with real wrestlers, and literally their face was destroyed, as another tag was been made in by the Motor City Machine Guns, going for the pin. 1, 2, no, only gets the 2 right there. But yeah, no, nothing but craziness. And I saw that, and I tried looking into it, and like, dang it, you know, it is what it is, you know. I'll think about it in the future. In the future, if it proceeds to be something. But then again, I'm kind of content with just the modern music for the time being, because past versions from the Mysterio to last year's version, I was modding the game heavily, putting modded arenas in. Yeah, they look cool. Especially, well, if I would have stuck with last year's, which I had all the people made and the music was in, I could have did it. But, you know, basically it was to a point where they had the WCW Club Lavera, or Lavara, if I'm saying it correctly, you know. Going for the pin. 1, 2, no, only a 2, but yeah, they had that arena, and then they had the legit WCW Thunder arena. I was like, damn, as soon as 25 comes out with the promos, and I want to switch over there because of the promos and the better things I added, instead of sticking with 24 and doing it. I'm like, so, you know, I said screw it, you know, went to 25, and in the future, I know that, you know, that guy, errors, or if I'm saying it correctly, if I'm not, sorry about that, but yeah, I know he'll make it, and I'll be then wanting to put that mod in, which would be pretty cool, because then it replaces one of the original arenas. One of the best ones I would like to put in. I'm not sure how it would work. Going for the pin. 1, 2, no, only 2. Because with how they have the entrances this year, which are totally, completely different, I'm not sure how it's going to work. But basically, you know, I would love to have the WCW NWA arena. I've used that arena a few times back on this side of the channel, when I had a few videos on here, and I was going to do a series on, I think it was the Rey Mysterio version, and that was going to be a series that I once did, and that was EP2, Extreme Pro Wrestling. Going for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Wow, man, I defeated the Motor City Machine Guns. That's crazy. That is really crazy. But as you see these replays and whatnot, but yeah, so, you know, I would love to go back to, you know, some of the old school arenas in the future. But for the time being, I'm gonna stick with what I got, the modern music, and get this stuff going. And that will be later on in the future to be something I would think about. As of right now, it's not really a thought in the process of me wanting to do. The only thing that I would want to do would be the blood, but you know, for me to have to pay a Patreon. I mean, I'm pretty sure once I pay for the blood mod, I have it, but to be able to mod the game and keep it modded, I gotta pay $5 a month to get the programs and keep them updated. No, that's dumb. For all the other years, it was basically a free version that you could get, and it was called Cake Tools. And yeah, it's a little complicated in the folders and how you had to do everything and put this and do that to get it to work correctly. But once you got it, you know, it was phenomenal. Especially when I did an episode at the WWF when they did the on the military base, like in the middle of the water. That was sick. But yeah, so what an amazing match. And the Midnight Express and Jay Hall get the win, ladies and gentlemen, defeating the Motor City Machine Guns. Now in the future, when we do the tag team tournaments, you gotta understand the Motor City Machine Guns may be in there, and then may see these guys again. We'll have to see. Indeed we will. But congratulations, boys, on winning this match. Because, you know, yeah. But we're going to be continuing things on to find out who's going to be going on to the next second round to face the Outlaw, the Legend, Chris Carter Sr., as it is going to be Kenny Omega taking on Mike Ross Jr. As we know, Colt Santos is taking on Mad Dog Niles, but once we find a winner, then we'll be taking a break, and as I say, going to the Men's and Women's United States Championships till we get to the second rounds, then the Intercontinental Men's and Women's, TV's Men and Women's, and Tag Team's Men and Women's, vice versa coming back, and Mike Ross Sr., the man that owns WCW, said through these exhibition episodes, as we're still modding the game, getting things in, he said then there'll be some other belts that don't have a women's division that will go on the line, and we'll have to wait and see when it happens. But we have Kenny by God Omega taking on Mike Ross Jr. here to see who's going to go on to be, you know, going into the second round for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship Tournament brackets. But here is Kenny Omega, and let's send it down to one of the amazing, lovely ring announcers that we have here for you at WCW Monday Nitro.
The following contest is a King of the Ring first round match. Making his way to the ring from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, weighing in at 224 pounds, Kenny Omega.
And as you hear the crowd, they were chanting some vulgar language, and now they're saying this is awesome. And indeed, it is awesome. I'm not gonna lie and say it's not. I believe every word you guys are saying. This is my first time calling a by God old Kenny Omega match. And this is awesome indeed. Indeed it is. And now they're chanting, this is wrestling, and this is wrestling. This is the hottest hour in professional wrestling. This is where the big boys and the big girls play. This is WCW Monday Nitro. Indeed it is. But here comes Mike Ross Sr.'s son, Mike Ross Jr. Oh, you hear the boos. You definitely hear the boos. They're booing this man. Yep, and there. Oh, come on, crowd, come on. Jesus. I get you guys got your guys' opinions, and you know, like Taz would say on there, you know, they paid for the ticket, they got a right to speak what they want to say, you know. They're booing Mike Ross Jr., Mike Ross Sr.'s son, representing the Final Testament. I know that they're representing Kenny Omega in this match, but you know, we'll just have to see what takes place and happens. This man, he's out once again, and now he's doing a metaphor that is gonna rip Kenny Omega's head off. Jesus, but the crowd, you hear what they're chanting. You hear what they're chanting. But they're chanting, "This is awesome seeing this," even though that they think Mike Ross Jr. is, you know, an a-hole. Oh, but they got a right to say what they want. Going for an early pin. Yeah, I thought he was gonna get nothing because the match just started. Well, Kenny Omega. Well, nice springboard off the ropes right there, and nice head scissors, spinning around and around and around he goes. Now picking up Mike, but Mike saying no. Mike Jr. taking it to Kenny. Nice punch to the face. Throwing into the corner. Well, nice punch to the head. Mike Ross Jr. and Kenny Omega, they're in the chain wrestling lockup. Mike Ross Jr. taking Kenny to the corner. Referee's coming over, telling Mike no. What are you doing? Nope, this can't. But he puts him back in the corner and says no, he is staying in the corner because goes for a buckle bomb of some sort with the legs. And off the middle rope, telling Kenny Omega, get your ass up. My bad, YouTube. I know I shouldn't be using this cuss words. I know you guys don't like that. But this is 18 plus. That's what the video is scheduled for. So, you know, don't demonetize me. Even though I don't think I gotta worry about that because all that is verified. But still, don't demonetize me. I could get verified one day. Not saying I am, but you know. You can't say that. What do you mean, Teddy? I can't say that. It's Teddy saying I can't be saying that. I said my bad. Mike and Kenny just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, blowing it out with the boos and the yays. Now that's one thing I would love to see fixed in the future. Not saying they gotta somehow try to implement it in this game, but in the future, that'd be something I'd love to see. Now, if you got a heel versus a heel or a face versus a face, have the crowd generate who they think that they would cheer for and who they would boo for. So that way when you do that, it's actually the crowd goes, boo, yay. I would love to hear that better. Like actual IRL, because that's literally how it is. Like, by God, Kenny Omega got busted open, but he's fighting his way back in the swing, but a nice reversal. He's saying, Mike Ross Jr., is that all you got? I'm Kenny by God Omega. Once I hit you with the one-winged angel, that could be it. But Mike Ross Jr. dodged that high knee that Kenny likes to hit. And what is he doing? He was just staring at him for a minute, watching him stumble, giving the opportunity to get back into this 1-1. Mike was so close, he could have just took his leg and touched the rope, but he was able to kick out. You got other than Kenny Omega taking Mike into the corner. What is Kenny Omega doing? Oh, one-winged angel. One-winged angel. No way. No way. Oh, that's it. That is it. He's done. 1, 2. No, he's not. Then again, I don't know if he was able to put the one-winged angel in. And they're screaming to Mike, he's not worthy to. Should have just stayed. I'm not agreeing with them, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm not agreeing with them. I'm not gonna be biased out here. I don't care who wins because they're both good wrestlers, and I would love to see them get. Imagine Mike makes it to go to the future, and he's the one that faces the Outlaw. The Outlaw versus Junior. That'd be a good match to see. But then again, the Outlaw versus, by God, Kenny Omega. That'd be a dream match to see too. And I don't think Carter ever was thinking in the middle. Oh, what? went to go for a drop kick. Kenny tried to catch him, but then he was able to kick him in the head and reverse it right away. Trying to stay in this one and do whatever he's got to do. But yeah, imagine, you know, you're a legend. You haven't been wrestling for a while, and you come back and you get to wrestle one of the best wrestlers in the world, Kenny Omega, at least one of the best wrestlers in the world. A man that's broken the PWI Inside record multiple times. That'd be crazy. 1, 2. I thought the referee just slapped Kenny in the face right there. Jesus. Mike went for a kick again. Kenny was able to try to get out of there with the move that he was doing. They kind of didn't collide together, but it kind of helped him out. And I was going to the top. Well, and Kenny got down. He should have just went for the jump, but he got down, and Mike Ross Jr. spared him out of the ring. He said, "What? You call him Kenny Omega, one of the best wrestlers? I just spared him out of the ring." And he's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong there. Throws none other than Mike. He hit his legs a little, though. I don't think that was going to be enough, though. But if Kenny Omega could somehow fight his way and stay in this one and hit the one-winged angel the proper way, which I think he's setting up right now, he may be able to win it, because the first way didn't really look too effective. This is how he normally sets it up. And this could be it. 1, 2, 3. And yep, that was it. The first one, he just didn't have the setup right away. Or the right way. And this time he did, but what an amazing match between none other than Mike Ross Jr. and, by God, Kenny Omega. This is an amazing episode that's been taking place so far, ladies and gentlemen, and we still got plenty more action here to come. But all this amazing back and forth between these two. But Kenny just showed to the whole world that he is going to the second round, and for the first time ever, it will be him taking on the legend. But see, when he hit it here, I don't think it was too much of an effective, because you see, when he went down like that, normally he was able to grab the leg, but he wasn't able to grab the leg that time. And that was giving Mike Ross Jr. the ability to be able to kick out, you know, and Mike Ross Jr. tried to fight his way out of this and tried to stay in it after that one-winged angel. If Kenny Omega would have hit it the proper way, that probably would have been it, because not too many people in this world have kicked out of that one-winged angel. If you kick out of the one-winged angel, congrats. You know, you're many of the few out in this world that can and cannot, you know, do so. You know, but when he hit it like this, see, when he had him like this, he had a good posture, a good angle to grab what he needed to grab. And that was the leg, and he was able to get the 1, 2, 3. So let's send it down to the ring announcer. Kenny Omega gets the victory. Kenny Omega is the winner. You hear the crowd chanting, "This is wrestling." We're going to be going back to see the brackets again to show you all what's going to be taking place when we do take a break from these tournaments and we eventually do come back. So, right here, ladies and gentlemen, we have now Kenny Omega in the future taking on the Outlaw, the Legend, Chris Carter Sr., and then at the top we have Colt Santos and Mad Dog Niles. Now we'll be taking a break from these tournaments. Next time we return to tournaments, it'll be the men and women's United States tournaments until we get to the second rounds, and then vice versa with the Intercontinental, TV, and Tag, and then we'll come back to the World and finish the men and women's, and then vice versa, going all the way down, with some other titles being thrown in the mix of the picture and being on the line throughout these exhibition episodes as we get things ready and I mod the music and get it in the game and do what I gotta do. But this is gonna be amazing. The Outlaw, the Legend, Chris Carter Sr. taking on Kenny by God Omega, one of the best wrestlers in the world, and then you got Mad Dog Niles taking on Colt Santos, which I believe that's going to be their first match ever. But we are continuing things on, ladies and gentlemen, with more tournament matches, because next we have none other than Paige taking on Valkyrie, and we'll have later on Christy Carter taking on none other than the replacement that Natalia found for her replacement, and that is Stacy Keebler, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to be amazing. And the winners of those matches will go take on Britt Baker, and the winner of the bottom brackets will take on Marissa Ross. So will it be Christy and Marissa, or will it be Keebler and Marissa? Will it be Britt Baker and Paige, or will it be Britt Baker and Valkyrie? We'll find out, ladies and gentlemen, for the women's tournament that we have taken place here. We already know that, Britt and Marissa are ready, and then when we find out the two in this episode will be taking a break. But who is it going to be? Who's going to be going on? Who's going to want to show that they're the best and want to go take on either Britt Baker from the top brackets or Marissa Ross from the bottom brackets? We're going to find out. Indeed we are, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue on with WCW Monday Nitro, and we continue on with these WCW Women's World Championship tournaments here for WCW Monday Nitro here on the second episode, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get on with it, ladies and gentlemen. Paige versus none other than Stephanie Valkyrie, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be a good match to see. Indeed it is. Paige taking on Valkyrie, first time ever in professional wrestling history, which is going to be amazing. And then we'll be making history with Stacy Keebler taking on Christy Carter later on for the first time history. But this is going to be an amazing match here for WCW Monday Nitro, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get ready to get these lovely women out, and let's get ready to send it down to none other than one of the lovely Dapper Yappers of WCW Monday Nitro.
It's a championship first round match. Making her way to the ring from Norwich, England, Paige.
And Paige making her way down here to the ring, ladies and gentlemen. She is here in WCW, and she is ready to show the world what she has got. She has recently, been talking about her leaving AEW, and Tony Khan basically said, you know what, you want to work in WCW, we'll work something out with this working relationship. Since we do got a working relationship, she'll be able to go back to AEW, but she is now fully contracted and under WCW. Where Britt Baker, you've seen her in the brackets in the tournaments, she is still contracted under AEW and is allowed to be over here, and she could win that belt and take it over to Wednesdays or Saturday, on Collision. That'd be pretty crazy. But let's send it down to our Dapper Yapper here for WCW Monday Nitro, ladies and gentlemen. And Stephanie makes her way down to the ring. Who do you all think on this episode is going to be winning? Let me know in the comment section down below if you're still here watching and continuing on with the episode. And if you are still here and you're new, or you're not new and you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. Once again, I am Region Gaming for you that are new or maybe are fast forwarding through the video and this is a match that interests you. And I am here for WCW Roleplay as we're getting things underway in Universe mode eventually soon. I'm modding the game with music, and we're almost close to getting done as we're doing all these exhibition, things and shows and getting the RP set up with who's going to be facing who for which championship at the first pay-per-view and whatnot. But we're continuing on. For those who have been here and know what's going on, but if you just joined in this premiere, or later on you're watching it as a video and you decided to skip through some of the parts and you think this would be a match you would want to see and you're not a subscriber and whatnot, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you did, make sure that bell notifications hit. Don't forget to like and leave a comment. Let me know that you're here, what you enjoyed about it, or even did you just liked it. I appreciate everyone that's been supporting at this moment of time as I'm recording this episode. it is actually the Monday of Memorial Day, and it's also the Monday of me releasing the match between the phenomenal one, the Maverick Ross, and AJ Styles for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which it is next week Monday, which it is Monday now that you're seeing it, because, you know, it's not Memorial Day anymore, so it's next week, but it's Monday as you're seeing it right now. And Maverick beat AJ Styles, claiming that he is more phenomenal and he deserves to be the World Heavyweight Champion of WWE. And, you know, Triple H made him walk out with the World Heavyweight Championship. Maverick won at his own custom belt, and he made it, and he could carry it now again, once again, but he don't like the big W in the middle. Everyone's got their preferences. You know, it would be just like us making a championship like how WWE has, and putting the big WCW logo, like you see on the bottom Tron, on the belt, and that's all we would have. But that'd be kind of, I get it, kind of boring. And he wanted his own design, you know. But Valkyrie's just taking it to Paige, doing whatever she's got to do to show that she wants to win this one. But, you know, we'll just have to see what happens as things go and continue. Things are going to be crazy, and things are only going to get wilder, ladies and gentlemen. One, Valkyrie trying to advance, but no, only gets to one. But yeah, a lot of amazing things to take place that are going to happen. A lot of amazing outcomes and things. And I also have a Discord for you guys that don't know, if you're still watching or you're not watching it as it's live as premiering or watching it later as a video or whatever. I do have a Discord, and it's also now a Discord that you can view on Discord or look up. It is none other than Firefly Gaming / Region Gaming Discord. And it does have a bunch of rules and things that you gotta, you know, acknowledge before you can join, you know, so it's no longer invite only. But if it ever gets to a point where my subscribers or whatnot and people keep joining and it gets toxic to a point where I gotta close it down and make it where it's not live anymore, I'll do that. But I want to have a community come join. I want people that like my content, people that are seeing this, you know, people that want to have ideals, because, you know, you can give some role play ideals out, like, hey, I was watching this and this is what I had in mind, you know. I'm not saying that I'm going to use every single one of those ideals, but I'll be able to put those in mind, because obviously I have my own ideal and role play ideal set up on what I want to do, and I have, you know, my broadcast partner time to time, Roughneck Gaming, which out of RP, he is actually Chris Cutter Sr., you know, and, you know, he's helped make ideals on the console days, and he's made some ideals when I was talking to him just recently today on Memorial Day, which it is next week, and it's not Memorial Day this week, but this is the day I'm recording the episode, you know, to get ready for you guys for the following Monday, which you guys are seeing it. And Stephanie back here just kicks Paige out of the ring and tells her, yeah, come on, get back in the ring, let's go. And she does get back in the ring, and Stephanie just taking it to Paige. But, you know, Chris Carter Sr., aka Roughneck Gaming, is going to be a commentator time to time on certain episodes throughout the future going on. You know, he basically, you know, he's someone that can come up with ideals unlike you guys can, you know. Now, am I going to take every single one of his ideals and use them? I don't know. Am I going to take every single one of my ideals and use them? I don't know. I might not, you know. 1, 2, no, only 2. There could be some ideals I have in mind, and out of, you know, AI versus AI, because I don't try to control it. And in the future, when we do swap over to universe mode, I will be controlling the camera as well. But as we're here in exhibition, I'm not controlling the camera, but goes for the pin as Valkyrie, goes for the finish. No, only gets the 2. Trying to finish it right then and there. But, you know, in the future, I'll crowd chanting women's wrestling. They're liking this match, they're liking what they're seeing. But yeah, in the future, I'll be controlling the camera and everything. And I love how they got the free camera. I love how I got all these different camera angles. And yeah, it's just amazing, you know. And I can't wait to do that in the future. But for the time being, I'm just letting it do its thing. And in the future, as I said, you know, at a roleplay mic wrestling, there's going to be switching camera angles for the show. So in the future, I will be trying some different camera angles, which will be not the rep camera, but back to the OG camera. And I know that there's the first person camera, but I don't know how that would work with AI versus AI. And to be honest with you, having a camera either facing the ramp or the side, which I'll have to see what I like better, which I do kind of like this because it makes it stand out, look different. But, you know, basically, it'll be me controlling the camera, so it's not going to look like facing this way the whole entire time during the Universes matches. During every match, there's going to be different angles, me holding the controller, switching to that angle, switching to this angle. Oh, I'm going for a springboard move, but Paige with a nice reversal against Stephanie Valkyrie. So, you know, as of right now, this is just basically me being able to, you know, as we do these exhibitions and get the tournaments, you know, obviously, yes, there's issues and bugs, like if you go outside the ring with custom arenas, there are certain spots that have, like, invisible walls now, which is, you know, it wasn't like that. We can't do special guest referees matches in custom arenas right now after the last patch-up that they gave us with Motor City Machine Guns and whatnot, you know. So there's things that they need to fix, things that they need. Oh, Paige setting up. 1, 2. No, she set it up, tried to finish it right there, but she couldn't get the job done. It looks like she's going to be setting up again. And she's going to be able to do it. Going for it again. Oh! And the Rampage right there just onto the mat. Telling Stephanie Valkyrie, this is my time to shine, my time. 1, 2, 3, no, 2.5, 2.5. The Paige just looked really shocked. But the crowd's here to fight forever. What's it good? You said this once here tonight. I would love to see it, but I can't be here forever. I eventually gotta go use the bathroom. I eventually gotta go eat. You know? I eventually gotta, oh, 1, 2, 3. Stephanie Valkyrie ended Paige, and she is going on to the next round. Okay, she is gonna be taking on Britt Baker. Alrighty. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool, amazing things that are going to be taking place, and a lot of things that are going to be happening, you know, a lot of ideas, and you can join that Discord, but, you know, if it ever gets to a point where it gets too toxic and gets to a point where everyone's joining and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, you know, obviously I got bots and stuff in there, and I got it to where if you keep spamming certain things or post certain things they're not supposed, then they'll, you know, take it down, you know, because we're here to have a good time in the community, and I'm here to, you know, I want to hear your guys' ideas too. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the show? Give me ideas, and, you know, make the show even better, you know. And in the future, maybe as RP's going on, some person, female, woman, doesn't matter, I decide they're not doing good, so I delete them. That gives me a free spot then in the future if that ever happens, you know. They left WCW, you know. Okay. Well, now you guys could say, hey, I'm on PC, so this is the guy I want you to download. You could tell me a little bit about him, you know, give me a little backstory, so that way another role play to go off of, you know. And Roughneck Gaming gets over with me, then he knows what to kind of go off of too, because he's a part of the Discord. He'll see, oh, so this character is this, you know. But let's send it down to the Dabber Yabber. And Stephanie Valkyrie gets the match one and done, ladies and gentlemen, which is pretty amazing. And we still got plenty of more action here to come, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go anywhere, because we still got plenty of more to come here for WCW Monday Nitro, ladies and gentlemen. And Stephanie Valkyrie, she's going to be taking on Britt Baker, ladies and gentlemen. But that match will take a break because, as I say, after these rounds, when we go to find out who is going to be taking on Christy Carter or Keebler against Marissa Ross in the future, which one of those it's going to be, as I say, we'll take a break and then we'll go to the men's and women's United States, and then the Intercontinental, television, and then tag team, and then back to this with some other titles being defended throughout the time. But we got none other than Christy Carter, and we got Stacy Keebler taking it one-on-one on the first time, just like Paige Valkyrie did. And Keebler is none other than our new WCW Pure Women's Champion, Natalya Neidhart, or Natty Neidhart, and that is her replacement, Stacy Keebler, the OG WCW Monday Nitro Dancing Girl. And we're going to be continuing on with that match right now, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get on with this next tournament match. Christy Carter taking on none other than Stacy Keibler, ladies and gentlemen, one-on-one. Who is going to be going to take on Marissa Ross? Now, if it's Christy Carter, they faced each other many times in the past. If it's Stacy Keibler, it'll be a first time ever, just like it is with Christy Carter here right now. So we're going to see who's going to win, and we're going to see who is going to be walking out going into the second round brackets of the WCW Women's World Title Tournament here for WCW Monday Nitro, ladies and gentlemen. So let's continue on with more.
The following contest is a championship first round match. Making her way to the ring, representing Evolution from Pearl River, Mississippi, Christy Carter.
And let's continue on with more of these matches. As I was about to say, and then continue it down to the Dabber Yapper, but he cut me off, you know. But it is what it is. No disrespect, no hit right there. But Christy Carter makes her way down to the ring. As you see, she's got the Anarchist logo in the back, because with the Evolution shirts, she's got the Evolution custom logo in the middle, which is a little heavily modified, which I did in the, because I added the A, which the A is cut off because you can't see it because the way her shirt is, but then also got an A in the back for Anarchist, because that's basically the Anarchist's group, you know, that she is married to the Anarchist, so I'm pretty sure she is deep down as bad as he is, and, you know, but let's sit it down to the Dabber Yapper.
From Baltimore, Maryland,
Stacy Keibler is here. You all remember her name. She's a WCW Monday Nitro Dancing Girl, and if you don't, then you're just a little too young. Too young for me. Well, not to be a friend or whatnot, you know. I'll be your buddy. I could be 30, 40 years old. You could be 20. We could be friends, you know. You're a wrestling fan. It doesn't matter your age. If you're a little kid, you tell me that Cody Rhodes is a POS, I'm going to sit there and argue with you. Like another wrestling fan arguing to another wrestling fan, no matter what age you are. You could be a little girl and you could say that this guy sucks. I'm going to say, no, little girl, blah, blah, blah. That person sucks, the shirt you're wearing, you know. It's just, no disrespect. We're just, you know, that's how wrestling fans talk. We boo and cheer who we want to cheer for, you know. I wouldn't be really disrespectful, start cussing at them, you know, if they were really young, but, you know, obviously, yeah, I don't like that person. I'm going to say, oh, I don't like that person. Just like there's people that I know that I used to work with that watch wrestling, and they hate that I love MJF. I love MJF from AEW, IRL. I love MJF, you know. He's, by God, one of the best wrestlers that AEW has, you know, besides, you know, Swerve is doing a fucking fantastic job. Hangman's getting a little bit better and whatnot, you know, but out of all the talent that is not known from wrestling somewhere else, you know, not any WWE stars that came to WWE, you know, I mean, not WWE stars that came to AEW, not, you know, other stars for TNA or whatever, like, he was an indie guy. No one really seen shit at him. Excuse my French, you too. But, you know, no one saw that at him. And then he came, it's a known fact. When he's on TV, even to this day, it's a known fact that, oh, Jesus, shoving her into the ropes over there. Aggressive, Christy is. But, yeah, when he's on TV, the ratings for whoever's watching at the time go up, and more people start watching. And then when he gets off, yeah, they may leave, but they love watching MJF for some reason, you know. He's just one of those guys that, you know, he is a POS, but you want to see what he's going to do next. And to be honest with you, if I'm going to have to guess anything, him joining the Hurt Syndicate, he's going to turn on them. And he's going to have a team with Wardlow. He's going to get Wardlow back. I don't know how that's going to work, but Wardlow, I don't know who else he'd bring, but it's going to be Wardlow and like 2 other people. And they're going to betray the Hurt Syndicate, but the Hurt Syndicate's going to have, you know, a backup card, and they're going to get their OG 4th member, And then it's going to be Hurt Syndicate versus whatever Jacob Freeman's new team is going to be called. You know, so that's my speculation as, you know, color commentator behind the desk and seeing what I see, not only on WCW but just anywhere else. And Christy Carter with a nice kick to Stacy Keibler there, almost like a Keibler kick, but it was a Christy kick, and now she's going for the pin, trying to get this one and done. 1, 2, no, only a 2 count right there. Crowd chanting to sweet, and they're chanting Fight Forever again, and once again. You guys might want to see this. I'll take my headset off and leave right now. You want them to fight forever? I'll tell the ref, hey, they just want to see them fight forever. There's no pinfall. There's no submission. I'm gonna go tell Mike that, you know, I'll just leave. And, you know, come back next Monday, and you know, then we'll do a pinfall and submission. So they'll fight for a week in the ring. You guys will stay here for a week. I'll come back if that's what you guys really want. You know, if that's what you really want, your wish is Mike Band. Mike Ross Senior, Teddy. You hear me on the microphone, but if they want this, let's make it happen. They're going for another Christie-style Keibler kick. And the crowd's saying one more time they want to see Keibler's head get kicked off. But this may be it. We'll find out. 1, 2, 3. No. And she might just have to kick Stacy Keibler's head off one more time. Listen to the crowd. Well, kicks her into the corner. Now what's on Christy Carter's mind? Well. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, Carter. Oh, did you learn that from their fucking husband? Excuse my French again. It's gonna be a little bit hard, you know. Try not to be cussy, you know. YouTube doesn't like that. I know they don't. Oh, it's got a submission hold locked in. Oh, the rope break. Stacy Keibler got the ropes. Nice knee right there, taking Stacy Keibler down. Goes to the middle rope, gets down because Stacy Keibler rolled out. Smart of her, went to go for a nice slap to the face, but no, reversal there from Stacy Keibler. Stacy Keibler did not get close enough to let that happen, and she got back into this. But Christy Carter went for another Christy Carter style Keibler kick. Maybe trying to show Stacy Keibler, I got a kick too. My kick is just as deadly as you. Oh, now the slap to the face. Oh, another slap back to none other than Christy Carter, and then she got hit with a Christy kick. Stacy Keibler kick. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. No. Only a 2. Yes, indeed. Women's wrestling. This is women's wrestling. Well. Oh. Well. What does Christy have in mind? I think she was going to go try to run, but you could just tell as she went to the corner, she thought about it, and you saw her walking, you know, kind of looks like she's out of stamina. She's out of it. Oh, Keibler kick. That's got to be it. She goes for the third. That's got to be it. 1, 2, 3. No. 2.5. 2.5. Jesus. Christy Carter does not want to give this. Oh. Yeah, she ran towards Keibler. Keibler threw her down, but nice reversal. Oh. Nice face slam to the mat right there. Oh, now she's setting up. What is she setting up for? Well, setting up for a submission hold. Got it locked in. And none other than Christy Carter taps. No, I'm just kidding. Stacy Keibler taps. I wanted to see if anyone would sit there and like, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure you guys did. Stacy Keibler lost. Got Teddy by her. Got a laugh at Blair. He said, wait, I thought for a second she did lose. Is like Mike looked at me and said no. Was not sure if we're gonna see Mike in a match tonight. Still here to come. All the drama between Gunther last week. We'll find out. There might be an action here tonight. We'll have to find out. Not everything is gonna be announced for you guys in the description, but you'll get to see for the card on what you will get to see. But let's send it down to the Dapper Yapper, one of the Dapper Yappers.
Here's your winner,
Christy Carter gets the win, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed she does, and she advances to the second round of the WCW Women's Championship tournaments. And as she celebrates, we will be going to our brackets, and here they are. So now we'll be seeing Christy Carter take on Marissa Ross, as they faced each other lots of times from 2016 to 2019 back and forth, but this time the women's division actually being something and them having to show that they're worth it, because we got women from WWE, TNA, AEW, some of the wrestlers from TNA, little name, slight name change, but TNA, WWE, AEW, and anywhere else in the future if we decide to bring more in, if we can bring more in. But for the time being, we got a stacked women's roster with people we found, people from WWE, and we'll be seeing them go one-on-one against each other. But at the top, we got Britt Baker taking out Valkyrie, which is going to be pretty crazy to see, you know. And this is all going to take a break as we'll continue on with the women's United States and men's United States, and then Intercontinental television tag, vice versa, until we get to second rounds and come back. But, oh, what's this? We are seeing Mike Ross Sr. in action, ladies and gentlemen. And what is this? Chris Carter Sr. is walking out with him. I'm being told by Teddy, Chris Carter Sr. came up at the last minute, had his gear on, and no one knew he was in the building. And he said that, I'm coming out with you. Mike Sr., apparently, as Teddy told me, that he said, no, I don't need you. But looks like Carter's coming out anyways. He said it doesn't matter if you need me, I want to be there. So this is kind of getting kind of crazy and hectic, you know. I get it. Chris Carter Sr. wants the Outlaws one more time, but he's in the world title tournament right now. So why is he worried about a team when he could be the world champion soon? I'm not saying he is or isn't. I don't know. He could lose when we come back and lose the next match he has against Kenny Omega. I'm not saying he is. I mean, we'll find out though.
Making his way to the ring, representing the final testament from Las Vegas, Indiana, weighing in at 254 pounds, the man of 1,000 holes, the legend, Mike Ross.
And one thing that you can notice really different about, well, the legend, the Cadillac Cowboy, Mike Ross Sr., is he is not wearing his Cadillac Cowboy, his old outlaw clothing. He's not wearing it. He's wearing his Final Testament, his new gear for his faction with his family, which Carter doesn't think that he belongs there. What Carter Sr. believes is that should just be ran by Junior and Maverick and their two sons, and screw them, and Marissa Ross, you know. You don't need to be a part of that, you know. But he's a part of it, and his claim is he wants to do his fun along with his family, you know. Carter doesn't want to see that. Carter's out here with them. No matter what the arguments between both of them, you know, he's still out here with them, and that's just that's telling you something. All the lights just went out. The lights just went out. What's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, it's
the
Ludwig.
matter is highly. What you're about to witness is dignified deformation executed by unprecedented precision. A diabolical athlete who will stop at nothing to uphold the integrity and honor of this great sport. Der Ringgeneral,
I'm being told, ladies and gentlemen, by Teddy Long right now, this is a #1 contendership match to see who will face JD McDonough at the next upcoming pay-per-view for the WCW Honor Championship. And there's Alan Angels, the man who sold his soul to Gunther. And then you got David Boy Smith, who originally went by Davey Boy Smith Jr., and he is with them as well. He is basically the guinea pig, the grunt. But I can't believe Alan Angels would have sold his soul, and he sold his soul. Can't believe it. And I can't believe that the crowd is saying this is wrestling, with Gunther coming out saying this is awesome. I mean, they're loving that they're finally getting a one-on-one match after what Gunther did to Mike Ross Sr. last week, and Carter Sr. when he saw that Mike Sr. lost. During the replays, which you guys didn't get to see, but I saw, Shucky said no, jumped over the barricade and walked out through the crowd, and he was in disgust. But this week, after what happened last week of them fighting over, he walked out with him again. Is he going to walk out again this week? That's the question. If Mike loses this match and doesn't become #1 contender to go after that Honor Championship at the next pay-per-view, the match that he once wanted to make back in the day in WCW, and they could have probably stayed in business. They left. He made it a dream come true. Still lost. Carter left. If he loses again, is Carter going to do the same thing? The crowd's chanting, this is awesome. Oh, I think they're talking to Mike Sr. I mean, indeed he does. I mean, I believe so. But he lost his first match, so then again, I'm not going to sit there and just be on the bandwagon of, a legend. You could be a legend all you want, I'm not going to be biased, I'm not going to sit there and be like, Ric Flair can come back through the curtain right now, interrupt the match, and then he gets added to it. I'm not going to sit there and say he's winning it just because of his accolades in his career. No, it doesn't matter what you've done in your career. You could be, a legend in 5-6 different wrestling companies, It doesn't mean a goddamn thing to me. You want to know why? Because you got to get in the ring and you got to show it week in and week out, even if you come back and you're a legend. And Mike lost his first match. I'm not saying he's going to lose his next match. I hope he doesn't. He hits a nice elbow drop right there. Alan Angel sitting there arguing with none other than Mike Ross Sr., trying to distract him, trying to give none other than Gunther an opportunity. And it was probably Kaiser told him, hey, you better sit there and try to distract him as much as you can during this match. And hey, all I gotta say is, me as a commentator, that ref will eventually get tired and throw you out. I mean, I've been to many different indie promotions and seen so many people get thrown out because they just keep on getting involved. Or as of right now, it looks like Carter's just watching the match. He's generally just watching. And if he gets involved, that'll be a surprising shock to me to see him grab a weapon or remove the turnbuckle pad, But then again, he's probably going to, and I'm not saying he is, but if he does, he's just probably trying to do that because he wants to team up with Senior again, And Senior does have his outlaw gear from back in the day. He does have, his trunks with the man of 1,000 holds on the back of it, The custom image that, he had made a long time ago, That took so many different tries to get made, but, got made. And for, him finally getting what he wants after asking so many times that he wants this, he wants that, he wants it to have this, no, not that, this, no, not that, and he finally got, and he had a nice, amazing, clothing attire, and he wore it on the first episode. He's not wearing it today, but Carter's still wearing his, when Carter walks out, he's got, the sledgehammers and whatnot, and the green background and whatnot, he's a king of king. Oh, Gunther, Jesus, God damn it. What's your issue, dude? Oh, Jesus. I didn't think Gunther was going to be able to hit that. And I thought his head almost hit the back of those steps. But Gunther, it looks like he's bleeding pretty badly, if I'm not mistaken. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, as there is a countout going on, we have Ring of Honor / New Japan style rules on the outside of the ring. There's only going to be a 20-minute outside of the ring, 20-minute count, or not 20-minute, 20-second count, or Mississippi count, or however the referee wants to do it. Because I know certain referees count fast, some count slow, some are more crooked than others, you know. Which here in WCW, I hope we don't have crooked referees, you know. I'm not the one that, I think, rope break it. That's what I thought. But I didn't hire these referees, you know. So I can't tell you if they're crooked, can't tell you if they're not crooked. I'm not a wrestler, so I'm just here watching the match. Now, if I seen back in the day when Mike Ross Sr. did this back on like 20, I think it was in the year 2019, if I'm not mistaken, or 2018. Somewhere around there, there was a match I was watching. I think it happened on a WCW Thunder episode, and none other than, oh come on ref, you got in the way. But none other than Finn Balor. Even though we got a working relationship, he is back here in WCW and whatnot, you know, in the Judgment Day and whatnot. But he was fighting for a championship, and the Phenom made a return because he was having issues with The Undertaker, which, you know, you never say never in wrestling. The Phenom said he's done, and the Phenom said he would never ever step back into the ring. But now that Carter's back, who's to say that he's not going to want to have that one last ride? You know, so many people that see that's me as a commentator. I like watching the interviews and whatnot as Mike Ross Sr. goes for the dropkick, goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, no. But I love watching the interviews because, like RVD said, you know, Christianity asked him, why haven't you retired yet? And he said, oh, getting interrupted by this time, look with Kaiser. But basically RVD said, no, I'm not going to say I'm retired because so many people have said that and they come back. So no, I'm not retired. And when I think it's time for me to hang up the boots, I'll just quit wrestling. I won't retire, I'll just quit wrestling, because retiring means that I'm never going to do it again. But just because I get burnt out and quit doing it doesn't mean that I'm still not healthy enough to want to do it. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. No, only gets to 2. So, you know, I think they're telling Gunther he's not worthy. Unless they're chanting it to, you know, the Cadillac Cowboy, then that'd be crazy. But yeah, so, you know, anything's, that's why you don't ever say you're retired. That's why, you know, oh, and Lego was holding Mike down so that way Gunther can go for the attack on him. But yeah, so, you know, anything could happen. Come on, ref, you can't be putting your hands on him. Come on, ref. And Gunther gets out and breaks it out, just says, I don't want you to get kicked out. But yeah, so anything could happen. So, you know, I get it. Mike Sr. and Carter Sr. both said back in the day, after, you know, when WCW left, you know, Mike kind of, you know, he did go around the world for a few years, but Carter went a little bit longer, you know, and said that, Mike said he was retired first, and then Sr. eventually said he was retired, and years later they come back, WCW gets opened by Sr. again, and they're wrestling again. It's like, and RVD's to the point where RVD, and I get where he's coming from, so, you know, never say never, you never know what's going to happen, you know, so, but they're back, and, you know, we'll just have to see who's going to get the job done, who's going to win, who's going to be walking out as the new #1 contender, who's going to be facing their first ever Honor champion here for WCW, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll just have to find out who that exactly is going to be. Referee got to a count of 14. Back into the ring. Gunther goes for the elbow drop, and Carter looks disgusted over there what he's seeing. 1, 2. He's trying to cheer his brother, his tag team partner, his best friend on. But every time Gunther looks like he's getting one step ahead of what's going on. It just seems like disgust. That's all you see. And a nice chop to the chest. Now be careful, Senior. This man is known for one of the brutal, most deadliest chops in professional wrestling. This man is willing to do anything, if not everything, to make sure he wins this match. Back and forth, blowing it out. And Gunther making Senior stumble. And I think Carter Sr. was going to get involved, but he chose not to. And Gunther, he's just taking it to Mike Ross Sr. Carter Sr. was going to get involved though, but he got down. So I was seeing Gunther going, but I think he was going to try to, distract the ref and remove the rope or something. So Mike Ross Sr. could maybe do a dirty move or something, try to get him and try to help him win this match, or I don't know what was on the mind. Maybe he thinks if he helps Mike Sr. win, that maybe he'll agree to become the Outlaws again. But I mean, if he helps him win and Mike goes on to become #1 contender in the next pay-per-view, becomes the Honor Champion, and Carter wins all the tournament matches and becomes a heavyweight champion, why be a team again? You guys are not going after those tag belts. You guys got single belts. That's my opinion. I don't know what's going on. Who knows? Carter may not even win the tournament. Mike Ross Sr. may not win this #1 contender spot. Gunther may win it. For all we know, the lights could kick off again and this gets interrupted. I hope it doesn't. But you can never say never, or you never know what's going to happen in wrestling. And it's crazy. And it's time the ref tell him to bring it on. And you got to the count of 20, so you got a while before he can get up. Now getting distracted again. Alan Angels and Ludwig Kaiser out there distracting him. Gunther gets back in the ring, not realizing that he's in the ring. Goes after another than Mike Ross Sr. Picks him up. Goes for the powerbomb. His feet are touching the ropes, ref. His feet are touching the ropes. 1, 2. Oh, Mike Ross Sr. was able to kick out. I would have been upset. I would have been like one of you guys in the crowd saying BS. Because his feet was touching the rope, but going for it again. Oh, Jesus. This one he just did with ease. And now he's just sitting there staring him down. Telling him to get up, I think. Sitting there talking trash about him. Now he's going to the top rope. Nice belly splash. Carter's looking really disgusted. 1, 2, 3. And Carter's looking really upset. And as of right now, as the replays are going on, you guys don't see this, but Carter jumped over the barricade once again with his head down, shaking his head now, walking away. He's in disbelief. He's disgusted at what he just saw. And Gunther's laying in the middle of the ring. A bloody mess right now. Doctor's in there cleaning up the blood real quick on him. About to send it down to the lovely Dapper Yapper. Wow. And we're getting really close to the end of the episode here, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost out of time, out of air. So if you liked what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you have been here already, thanks for returning back. I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me, ladies and gentlemen. It means a lot. We are another episode down, but we are still on air. So we'll see what happens here at the last moments of what's going to be going down. Indeed we are. But this is where Gunther almost got it done. Towards the end, where it was almost, he had it right here where I would have been upset because you could see his feet were touching the ropes and the referee didn't see it. Whoa, what's going on? What's going on? That's JD McDonough staring down Gunther down the ramp, staring down the new #1 contender. That is your WCW Honor Champion, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what's this? Gunther. Oh, Gunther and JD are walking towards each other. The crowd's chanting vulgar language once again. Got the referee telling ring the bell. They're just fighting back and forth. Got the bell ringing. Come on, we need security. Where the hell is security at? I'm being told by Teddy that the rest of Judgment Day, they just destroyed and beat up most of the security guard. It's got these WWE guys over here just destroying WCW backstage, trying to take over and make a history. But I get it, you know. This is the new era. WCW's back, and you got to show Mike Ross Sr. owner, and plus the crowd that you want to be a champion. You want to be on top. This is where the big boys play. This is where the big girls play. This is the hottest hour in professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. This is WCW Monday Nitro live on YouTube for premieres every Monday. Eventually switching to lives every Monday as much as we can, and it's amazing content that we're seeing, and the crowd's chanting. This is awesome. And they're enjoying what they're seeing. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, I guess, because, you know, like any other wrestling show, they would say, if you got it broken up, let them fight. And, you know, you got to give the crowd what they want. And Gunther just talking stuff. He said, I just heard him. He said, is this your honor champion? Is this the man you call a man of honor? And that's crazy. It's just taking it to JD. And he's been through a match. He got the blood cleaned up by the official. And he's just taking it to another event, JD McDonough. Jesus. And y'all think that is padding. That is steel right there. And the crowd's chanting, you know, vulgar again, because that's gotta hurt, especially if you are getting, you know, slammed on the back of your head. The crowd's loving what they're seeing. The bell's still being ringed. Got the rest of Judgment Day probably backstage fighting off the security, because I'm being told by Teddy security's strong and they're trying to hold him back. But I don't know if the rest of Judgment Day knows that JD is getting destroyed and should come out here and save him. But even if they do, Imperium, the rest of Imperium is standing out there by ringside. Jesus, set him up. Set him up. Oh! Hit him with a powerbomb. The crowd's chanting vulgar stuff again. Jesus, come on, Gunther. Come on. Jesus. And now security's coming out here. They're breaking it up. They got past Judgment Day. And Judgment Day is being told by Teddy that JD just got destroyed out there. Gunther just ran back down to the ring. This is the ending of the show, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you all in the future. Wow, what an episode. I will see you guys next Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Gunther will celebrate, and this is the end. See you guys next week.